Hey guys, what's up? It's Jaguar Kevins and welcome to another episode of Fresh Out the Oven. This one's brought to you by DistroKid, and this is my online production series where I dive into some of my beats. I'll show you a behind the scenes look at how I make them, and hopefully you can get some tips and tricks to use into some of your own work. On today's episode, we're going to be going into a beat called I Don't Try. Now this beat is a beat. This beat is released on all major streaming platforms like Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, even TikTok. And I'm going to show you guys how you can get all your music out on these platforms too. With the company that I use is called DistroKid. It's the best. We'll get into it a little bit more after the intro. Without further ado, let's hit it. So as I mentioned at the top of the video, this song is out on all major streaming platforms, and I'm going to show you guys how you can get your music out there too. I highly recommend you do this because it's way better marketing your music through these professional platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, and things like that than sending out SoundCloud links. I don't know about you, but I'm so tired of getting spam SoundCloud links. The sound quality on these streaming services is generally better, so why not do it? So the company that I use is called DistroKid. Now DistroKid, in my opinion, is the best digital distributor you could use in this day and age, especially as an independent artist. It's so easy to get your music on the site and then distribute it to all the services that you want it on, and it's really easy to get paid from the site as well. What's also cool about it is if you have collaborators you're working with or other people featured in your songs, it's easy to split profits with them too if they're using DistroKid, and the network is huge, so there are a lot of artists that are already on it, which makes this an easy feature. Also, if you guys are interested in it, if you sign up using the link below, you'll get 7% off your first year with DistroKid, which is already a pretty affordable service. I highly recommend you get your music distributed to these services. If you land even your beats on Spotify playlists, you can get huge numbers on them, let alone if you're a recording artist. You gotta get your music out there. Definitely check it out. Now, to the beat. Alright, so starting with our intro here, this track's another trap track sort of thing. I don't want to call it EDM by any means whatsoever, but it's got some EDM influence to it in the sense that I didn't want to make this song so empty that I left it wide open for vocals to come on. I have some vocals here in the thick of the song sort of thing, but I also have kind of a groove going that you don't necessarily need to listen to it with rap. When I release things on streaming services, I kind of want it to have a little bit of a different sound than what I have on my store, if that makes sense. Just because I'm not typically getting rappers on the beats that I have on my discography, and I want it to still sound interesting. So yeah, let's do it. The intro, we have a kalimba as the main instrument. I've just filtered it with a bit of a textured jingle bell kind of thing going on, and then a filtered snare comes in. I'll play it so you can get an idea. These textures are pretty loud. I made this song almost a year ago now, so there's a lot I would do differently in terms of mixing and things like that, but it's always interesting to look back at, you know, what I used to do, and it's cool to see the things you improve on. So yeah, that intro, drums drop in pretty heavy. Just put a slow down here. If you guys don't know how to do that, it's super easy. Select your fade tool, hold command, click it, and you just drag it around. It's going to probably come up as a fade, so then right click and select fade or slow down, and in that sense it's going to go. See? So yeah, man, that little finish him thing is what I kind of use. Is that it there, the vocal effect? Yeah, just to emphasize the drop. It's just this, I think it's Gandalf, maybe not, probably not. No, it's not. Sorry, Lord of the Rings fans. Finish him. Put some dank reverb on it and stuff. This is actually like a guitar kind of plugin. Actually, you know, it's for anything. CLA is dope stuff though. I think I mentioned it in the last video. If not, I use CLA on everything. Not literally, but a lot. Got a lot of cool plugins. From Waves, yeah. Finish him. So So this one's real simple. As you guys know, I like to keep things simple. Not always, but with this one especially it is. The main melody here is just this really simple little boogie I came up with. I'm gonna loop this section. It's just a kalimba. Put some CLA effect on it. That's it dry. So you can hear, put some filtering on it, bunch of reverb, some delay, and a bit of a tape phase. So that's the main melody, and then I add in this groovy little counter pluck melody. Oh, sorry, I'm not clicking on. There we go. It's like that ain't matching up. Super simple, and so I have a little backstory into this instrument. So now it's just a boring old flute. Here you can see it was this pluck called Lemonheads. Basically, kids, moral of the story is don't upgrade to Catalina, cause it's crap. Basically, my Mac was on auto update and I updated it to Catalina and I lost half of my VSTs and instruments. RIP. Just take a moment of silence. But I got half of them, more than half back. Problem being, a lot of the manufacturers haven't released patches yet for them, so unfortunately, some of my instruments were stuck in the Stone Ages, and this is one of them. So for the video's sake, I just put in a flute so the instrument wasn't missing, because it kind of resembles what the pluck was, because it's not doing much. So it's just kind of following that. And then with the main. And then the part that makes this super swaggy is this little vocal chop. I'm pretty sure I plugged decap in the last video and I'm gonna plug him again. Basically, he's got these little vocal things in the sample packs that he has, or the drum packs a lot. Always these little cool fun chops you can put together. And I put this little loop together with it.
Zoned out. Feel it fly. Deep breath. I don't try.
That with the melody, here we'll just get the melody going.
Zoned out. Feel it fly. Deep breath. I don't try.
And as far as the flute goes, like I don't want to explain it much because I honestly made it makeshift, but I just put on some like RC retro color CLA effect, big surprise there, just to try and get it back, that sound. But I honestly threw that together in like a few minutes before making this video just so it wasn't missing an instrument file. So that's the melody. Rolling into the bass, I'll solo it. Basically, I don't ever do this often. I guess I did in this one, but I put a synth bass, filtered out a lot of the low end on it, on top of an 808. They're both bending. So let's hear it and see how it sounds. So if you don't know how to make 808 bends in Logic, there's lots of ways that you can do them. But the way that I do it is so, you can draw in your MIDI. I always play my MIDI on the keyboard and then go in and adjust things just because I like playing, but I'll draw in the bends always. So what I do is, like, you've got your main note here. This is how I do it. I use my 808s through the EXS24 sampler, so like I have them all loaded up, all these sounds. You can see lots of stuff, Cymatic stuff, all that jazz, some BWB stuff, all that anyway. So that's like my sound bank. I load everything into the EXS24 and I play it all through that. It's gonna be on poly when you first load it, put it on legato, and then this here, your glide, is going to adjust how fast it slides, like the response on it. I have it pretty short at 200 milliseconds, but that's where it timed with the beat well, the slide. So when you turn on the glide is when you're going to get that timing for that. Otherwise, here, I'll turn it off, and you'll see what happens when these notes that are at the same time, they just hit, and nothing's actually sliding, they're just clashing. And that's the 808. It's got some sausage fattener on it. Probably cranked it way too much because I made this a year ago, so I put on a limiter. It's all about gain staging, folks. I probably didn't do that much with this track, but it bangs. I definitely could have done a better job on the mix, but like I said, you always learn as you go. Now the drums, there's a lot going on. Where do I start? I'll just play them. Yeah, anyway, they're super bouncy. It's got a kick, obviously, and some snares. We got a few hat layers, a couple cymbals. We got a China and a crash. Let's check out just the hat layers alone. Groovy, groovy, groovy. And then we got this cool little perk loop. I didn't make this though, this is just a perk loop that I found. Really cool. And it just had that descending melody, and then I threw on that texture, just goes throughout the song. It's gonna be hard to hear through this, but it's just kind of like jingle bells. It sounds like rustling, like newspaper almost. And then I've got some chants on it. You know me, I like to put a big ooh. I think it was on the last beat I did a breakdown for actually, but it's on this one too. It just adds to the overall hype of it. There you have it. That's the bulk of the song. I just go into things like sequencing it after that. But what I tend to do when I do this, when I make a song, is essentially I just build the loudest, biggest part of the song right away, layer it all the way to the end, and then start trimming things out. And then you can see that's what I've done here. Later on in the song, I add in a different little thing instead of the finish him, just to switch it up into the chorus. And then there's also a filtered section at the end of the song somewhere. Here it is. Just put a filter on the master bus, a high pass filter, just to finish the song off, and then it just swells back into the song as it wraps up. And that's the bulk of it. So you can check this song out on all major streaming platforms. I use DistroKid to get it out there, so shout out to DistroKid. Check the song out. It's called I Don't Try off my EP Wild Side, out on all streaming services by Jaguar Kevins. Thanks for checking the video out, guys. Comment, like, reshare, tell anyone, tell your friends, show your grandma, she'll dig it. Let me know what song you want to see broken down next, and I'll show you behind the scenes. That was fresh out the oven with I Don't Try. This is Jaguar Kevins, and peace out. Thank you.